Let's see, what should I do? Something different that you haven't heard much. Keep loving arms all around me. Nah. Nobody knows the trouble I see. No one but you. Nobody knows the heartache I've had. No one but you. And that's why I want to thank you, thank you. I want to thank you. You've been so good to me. Oh yes, you have. You've been good, you know it's hard. I got to. I wasn't a guitar player, y'all, obviously. At any rate, my name is Michael Buie. I sang with Robert Blair and the Fantastic Violinaires from, well, I did a couple of gigs with them 1994, before I got out of the Navy. I was on shore duty. And then in 1995, I went to Charlotte, where Blair was staying at the time, Charlotte, North Carolina. And we chatted. I told him I was getting out of the Navy. He said, well, you know, we don't sing every day, and we don't travel on the road constantly, but we do weekends. And if you want to give it a try, why don't you come with us? So I left my job the first time I did a gig with them as a member of the group. I left my job, went down to Sumter, South Carolina. Met up with Blair. Danny was there. Not Robert. And then the rest of the guys were there, the musicians, Bobo and Tito, and I'm trying to remember who exactly was there, but we performed there. That was my first time. And I went out in the parking lot with the guys, and we ran over stuff to make sure I could hit the harmony. Danny decided what he would do top on, what he might do second on if he thought I wasn't tight on that. You know, the second tenor on the Violinaires, you don't hear it as much as you hear the top, but it is not an easy part to harmonize. But at any rate, then I traveled down with them. I left my job again. I drove straight to, I want to say it was somewhere in Mississippi. Went straight there, Alabama or Mississippi. And made it in time to walk on stage with them. By then I had actually done a rehearsal. The guys were just so, they had been singing together so long they could step on stage, and stage rehearsal program, it didn't matter, they had it. So I was trying to keep up. But I enjoyed singing with the Violinaires. I sang with them until Blair died. Actually, Blair died, was it 2001 or 2001, I think, because Jesse McDaniel died. See, Shot died in 98. Jesse McDaniel died, I want to say, in 2000, and Blair in 2001. But I may have it off about a year. I haven't checked the obituary, guys. So we traveled about another year together, singing. Guys were talking about should I talk about this? But they were talking about changing up the style. Been singing that high stuff a long time. Maybe we should do something different. Didn't have Blair. But Blair had brought on a guy called Titus Stallworth. And they called him Lil Blair because he sounded so much like him. As a matter of fact, I remember sitting, not on the sofa over here, but it was another sofa over there, but it was in this house, on the sofa in that spot. And Lil Blair was singing the parts. Robert Blair had a couple of strokes by then. He had difficulty moving around. And I could see that gleam in his eye to hear Lil Blair singing those parts. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard him, I was amazed at what he could do. First time I heard tracks that he laid, I could close my eyes and thought I was listening to Blair in his younger days. So, the guys sat home for a bit, didn't do any gigs, and Lil Blair would call me and say, Buie, he said, we got to carry on Blair's legacy. And I said, I'd love to do that, but I don't feel like worthy, you know. But we decided to go as the New Violinaires. Eventually we tacked on Lil Blair and the New Violinaires. We got with Melvin Couch. We got with Melvin Couch record company, New Sound Entertainment. Also, it's sometimes known as Meltone Records. And he said, let's drop the new. Let's call it Lil Blair and the Violinaires. And that's how we became that name. We sang together from about 2002 until my sister died in 2007 from breast cancer, my baby sister. My parents, I was the only child then, so number of factors, and that led me to stop traveling on the road. So I sang with Lil Blair and the Violinaires, like I said, from 2000 to 2007, sometime after my sister passed. So it was probably mid-year as we phased in another guy for, to sing that spot. And then I stepped back. Over the years, I would go out with them occasionally, sometimes if they were missing that other tenor and needed that sound. Just reflecting back, there were times I know Blair's called me because I worked a job. If they were short someone, I was with them most of the time, but there were times that Shot would come back in. Danny Shot there. I just was not going to press that issue. I did go on the road with both of them from time to time, but to me it was just a third wheel to do that. But sometimes everybody wasn't there and you needed a tenor. I jump on a flight or whatever. I've taken the money I was going to get paid. Blair and I put that together and we fly at last minute notice just to keep the Violinaire sound going. I love all those guys. I know there have been, they called different sets. They eventually, not too long after we started going as Lil Blair and the Violinaires, they started traveling quite a bit extensively. We've actually done a program together with them in Kansas City. They sang a bunch of different songs. We sang a bunch of different songs. And I guess it was a thing. People were excited to hear that, But I love all of them. And I know there have been some feelings about splitting the group. As a matter of fact, when we did the different group, Lil Blair and the Violinaires, we thought that they had pretty much put it down. But they came back out and people still love them. I still love them. Still go to hear the group I went to see. Danny's set of guys, excellent singers, good bunch of guys, singing in somewhere up in North Carolina toward Virginia. I can't call the name of the city now. We used to go there quite a bit with Tommy Ellison. But there were just good days, good times. Going on that stage with Robert Blair and the Fantastic Violinaires. Blair would sit there on backstage and he'd be quiet and he would listen. He'd listen to the group before him. Oftentimes, Violinaires were the last group to come up. You probably know why. Unique sound. And when we would step on stage, it was like transformation. Feeling the love coming from the audience and the excitement. Other singers running to the sides of the stage to hear what we were going to do. Singing with the Violinaires, it was a unique experience. I'm so happy that they're still singing today. Lil Blair is still singing with the Violinaires. I want to say that they have actually pulled together to one group, and maybe two. But I bless both of them. They're carrying on the ministry, they're carrying on the sound, and that makes me happy, it makes me proud. So I'm really kind of rambling, just kind of reminiscing as something comes to my mind. But let me say, quartet music in general. There's something about hearing that background, individual voices. Contemporary music, choir, I know it's a thing. And I love hearing it too. But for me, it's something about hearing those three guys or three ladies, because they're traditional gospel quartet with female singers, dynamite singers. It's something about hearing that background push that lead singer that you just cannot beat. I hope it never dies. I've always dreamed that it would resurge again to be an exciting sound for everyone. I haven't seen that yet. Like I said, the contemporary sound is still there. To me, even when they mix, even when the studio mixes quartets, they stack so many layers, you lose the individuality that you used to hear those background singers do. You know, I miss it. In the little wooden chapel, sitting way out on a hill, yes, there was, hanging high upon the wall, you'll see 3 pictures of the Lord. Little Shot. Man, that guy was a trailblazer, a renovator, a pioneer. Little Shot was singing before I was born. And growing up listening to him as a boy, and then having the opportunity to stand on the same stage with such a legend. Even the guys, you know, Emma Curdy, Jesse McDaniel, Frank Thompson, oh God. And even the guys of the 70s and in the 80s, you know, Danny and Robert, sometimes Frank, Tito, standing in. Man, if they came anywhere near where I lived, I was there. That's how good they were. That's how unique they were. And Robert Blair, one-of-a-kind voice. I never thought I would hear his voice again when he died. But Lil Blair, my friend, my hat's off to you. All right, I love you guys, all of you. I want you to keep going. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner. God bless you.